joining me now for another edition of Coach's Corner for the Knights is head coach of the EHL Knights. That's Josh Fusco, and you guys are coming back now from a weekend up in the Boston area. Been traveling up into New England fairly often, and you got another one coming up next weekend. But before we get to that, we'll talk about this past weekend. You started out playing the Boston Junior Rangers, and then of course the East Coast Wizards on Saturday. Split the pair, lost in the first game, I'll win in the second game, but let's just start with that. You guys played a good team in the Junior Rangers, one of the better teams in the EHL this year. Played competitively with them, and ultimately just came up a little bit short there at the end. But what were your thoughts on the team's effort and performance up there on Friday?
I thought we played good hockey, both games, and you know, the Junior Rangers, I think, are one of the top teams. You know, they move the puck really well. They're fast. Their D are solid. I think they have some really strong D. They're good with their sticks. They're good with their gaps. You know, they play their D zone tight. And they play real simple. They weren't real flash and dash, but you know, they just moved the puck well. They got pucks to the net. We had a few breakdowns, a few mistakes, and that's what led to the goals. And if you look at it, I mean, how many goals? I mean, 4 of the 5 goals I think were backdoor.
Right.
You know, backdoor goals, and we just, you know, in intermissions we're you know, pointing that out and addressing that, but we just it was mental. You know, guys still weren't picking up, and that ultimately cost us there that game. I mean, you know, one thing that it was kind of bothering me is we were working hard, and then we finally getting back into it. We score a goal, and then 30 seconds later, a minute later, they scored to go back up 2, you know. So we made that final push at the end, changed the forecheck, went from the 1-2 to the 2-1, and you know, gave the D the green light to just go. And you know, I started at about 2.5 minute mark. Like, do I pull the goalie? Do I send this extra attacker? And we were playing so well, and I didn't want to risk that, you know. And it was that time on the clock, and it just kind of ran out on us. So. Yeah, I thought the performance there was, again, you know, we didn't play a complete 60. I thought the travel out there was much better than the week before. We had some time to get some good food in us and kind of relax a little bit and get in the hotel and then go to the game. But our start was better. That's something that we've had an issue with that long travel, is our start to the game. But you know, hey, look, we responded well to a good hockey team. I think, you know, standing wise, they're what, 3 now? I think they're number 3 in the league, and you know, so they're right up there with, you know, the Avs and the Rev, and to play a 5-3 hockey game with them, I really can't complain. Saturday, it's a team that's up there with points. You know, they're another good team. They're kind of a team that they go back and forth. They're a little inconsistent, so. You know, they played the Revolution the night before. They had a pretty good war with them, and the key there was to get a quick start. Right. You know, jump on them real early in the game, get them down, get them on their heels, let them run around with how they're inconsistent, and let's bury them from there. And you know, I kind of challenged them once we went up 2-0. Like I was saying on the bench, it's point night. You know, don't stop. We need to get that killer instinct, and we need to show that. You know, we're finally turning that page on our book here this year and moving on to the next step. And one of that is when we have these teams down, we got to keep them down. You know, and obviously, you know, the outcome of the game, I think, was kind of changed a little bit there in the second with the penalties. Right. And it wasn't just us; it was back and forth. Right. You know, it was both teams, the 5-on-3s, and then it goes to a 5-on-3, and then another 5-on-3, and you know, I think 7 minutes there we were on 5-on-3. Yeah. So it was 6-7 minutes there, 5-on-3 hockey. I mean, and then it was the same there, their way. Yeah. So, you know, that kind of sways the game and kind of kills momentum a little bit. And they scored a couple goals to get back in the game, but again, we turned around and we said enough's enough. We're ending this team, and we just popped one in, and it kind of went from there. You know. And, you know, I was able to get some other guys a little bit more time, and I was able to kind of mix and match and throw some different things out there and work on a few things, and you know, maintain that lead and still pop some goals in. And you know, I changed the power play up there and got our new guy Nate Chucker and put him in a different role on that power play unit, and changed where Austin Weber is on that unit. And Austin Weber finally scores a goal, and so it's no, it was. I would have liked the 4 points with the way the stands are right now, but I think to get two points out of the 4 on the road right now for us is huge and a positive.
Now, I want to go back and just touch on that stretch, and not to get overly into all the penalties. There was quite a few in that second game against the East Coast Wizards, but there was, as you said, a prolonged period of 5-on-3 where you guys had to kill off a 5-on-3 because of a major and another penalty, and then another penalty was taken during that 5-on-3, so that extended things, obviously, as you said, for a long stretch. And you guys only gave up 1 goal in that entire time. And, we've talked about special teams a lot, in these interviews. Your power play got 3 goals in that game. Your penalty kill, I believe, was 5 of 6 or 6 of 7.
We had a shorthanded goal.
We had a shorthanded goal, and then the night prior, the penalty kill was also very solid. But just from that one stretch where you're on a long penalty kill like that, holding a lead, and you're able to leave that long penalty kill, giving up just 1 goal, and also still with the lead, how big of I don't want to say teaching point because you guys have been working on it all year, but how big of a moment is that for this team, and not only their confidence, but just for you personally showing them, hey, this is what we are capable of, this is what we're able to do, as you move forward in the year, and again, facing pretty big teams in terms of the standings coming up.
It's, that's one of those positive things that, that's a lot of hockey, where you're down a man and then down 2 men. And then for them to get out of that, I think that was a huge momentum swing for us because you could see them starting to get the momentum. They started putting pressure on. Then there's the penalties, and they're on the power play for so long. To shut them down, I think you could just see the emotion on the bench. And as like another minute ticked off that 5, and now it's 4 minutes left in the penalty, and the guys are, hey, we're going to kill this, and we're getting back on track here. We're going to kill this, and we're good to go, boys. And just stuff like that is something that I've been really, it's been driving me nuts. As a coach, seeing them on the bench, and we've talked about it before, blocking a shot, big hit, get up, get fired up. That bench was electric. As soon as that time ran out and we went back to 5-on-5 hockey, that bench erupted.
Well, if I'm not wrong, you guys scored off of that as well. Right after you got back to full strength.
Yep, so. And I believe that was no, that wasn't Weber.
I think that was Fuss.
I think it was Fuss.
Fuss.
Yeah, Fuss's goal.
Could be wrong,
No, I think you're right. It was Fuss because Weber scored in the 3rd there. But it's just. That's one of those things that they need to do. Feed off of that, feed off of the positive stuff. Feed off of things that are going to help us get some momentum and build. And then, it's just, it was nice. It was a good feeling. That made me feel like, hey, we got this game.
Yeah.
I know the boys want it. They're hungry for this.
Right.
They weren't giving up. They weren't letting down. It's easy for a team to go down 5-on-3 knowing that there's another 2 minute. When that first 2 minute runs out because they're stacked, that's essentially, that's 7 minutes there that you got to kill.
Right.
So you can just see teams kind of deflate and just like, oh my God, here we go again, But no, it was awesome. It was finally nice to see a complete 60 minutes. It was finally nice to see. I thought everything systematically was good.
Right.
We played very solid. D played very simple. Didn't pinch, didn't try and do anything out of the ordinary. Just tried playing simple hockey. And that was a huge message, both games.
Yeah.
Be a hockey player. Make hockey plays. So, hey, and then again, what's on the line right now. There's 2 teams on our heels in the standings with points.
Yeah.
I think Apple Core actually tied us now. So you got that 4th, 5th, and 6th spot for the playoff standings.
Right.
It's a bottleneck here. Right. So we need to start chipping away and getting points and getting any points going to help, and we need to start stringing a couple games together here to separate ourselves from that bottom. Separate ourselves, get ourselves into that top group now.
Sure.
So.
Now you mentioned him briefly there in the prior answer, but Nate Chuckwood comes in. He's a guy you had seen on the other end of the ice coming from the Philadelphia Junior Flyers. You bring him in on a trade, and he he's put up some points. Since coming over, especially this past weekend in the special teams department as well, just in 5-on-5. But what does he add? I think you and I talked about him off camera a little bit as a guy who can skate and can move the puck. But just when we're talking about your roster, what does he bring?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, he brings that. He's a '97, so he's aging out. He's played a couple years of junior, and he's bringing that experience. He's bringing that. The boys kind of call it that grandfatherness to the locker room, So like they call Webby and JP the grandfathers. He brings that in, and he's bringing that veteran leadership to the locker room. On the ice, on the bench. I mean, he's great on the bench. He's tall. He was a leader in that whole 5-on-3. Keeping the guys positive and guys feed off that. And he's a big body. For his size, 6'3", 225. He's not afraid to hit. He likes to. He's strong on the puck. It's not easy to take the puck off his stick. He plays very simple. He's not going to try and go and then. He likes moving the puck. And, Alex Morawski's kind of getting back on track now a little bit. Tyler Nielsen, obviously. And that line, I was like, I have that feeling. I got a lefty, I got a righty, and I want to put Chuck in the middle here. Let's see what happens. And they kind of just took off and run like they've been playing together for the past 2 months. So it was nice to see. And, he obviously brings offense to the table. It brings some more scoring to the lineup, more depth, and then at the end of the day, it's the kid knows that this is his last go, so he's got a couple schools and he's looking at and he knows like this is it. I need to get to school. I want to win a championship and stuff like that. So that whole mentality just fuels him, and you can see it in his play. I mean, he's a very, very big addition to this lineup.
Sure, and then this upcoming weekend, you guys, as I mentioned earlier, make another trip up to New England. You're going to Connecticut this time, taking on the Rough Riders for a 2-game away series there. You had them in the building.
Schedule's a little easier on this one.
Yeah, you don't have to come back at 5 in the morning. The Rough Riders, you had them in the building earlier in the season. They got 2 wins here in 2 hard-fought games, but 2 games that they won. Obviously you have a bit of a different team going into this weekend than you did then. But, what kind of adjustments, not adjustments, that's not the right word, but what kind of changes do you feel your team has made since the last time these 2 teams have met, and how do you think that'll play out on the ice?
One of the biggest changes is obviously, if you're talking systems, would be our forechecks is completely different now. But you know what, we're a different hockey team. I think they're kind of, in my mindset is, they're an older, more of a veteran team.
Right.
I think in their mind, they probably feel that they handled us pretty well last time. They already got 2 games off of us. They're at home. They think, maybe the mindset there is they can take us a little lightly. And I could be wrong on that. But, I think the key to this is on Saturday, we have to get out to a fast start.
Right.
Like, we have to come in there and punch them right in the mouth. Play that style of hockey right off the bat. Obviously we got a different forecheck. I think our D are playing much better right now. Obviously we got a little bit more scoring throughout the lineup. And I look at my lineup and say, like, hey, we got 4 lines that can go. You want to try and mix and match me, go for it. That type of stuff. So I don't think I don't think that we're too worried about them. I think that's our mentality. I think the guys know, obviously, we have points that we have to take. The other thing that fuels us is, hey, you stole 2 games in our building. Yeah. Now we're going to steal 2 games from you. It's our last time playing them. Let's even the series here at 500. Right. Get 4 points off them. And let's give them credit. They're the top team in the South Conference.
Right.
So, they're number 1 overall in the South, and or number 2.
I think
number 2. Right. Yeah. Because you got the Rev. Yeah. Right. I forgot. But they're number 1 in their division.
Right.
And then we got them. So they're that top 2, top 3 team in this conference, and I think Saturday night against East Coast was a statement win. I think that the boys were saying in the locker room. Jake Fuss was saying it, address the team, like that was a massive statement for us boys. Now we can keep the ball rolling here, turn the next page in the book, and make another big statement here, another splash in the league. So.
Sure. Well, the Knights will be in action again this upcoming weekend, Saturday, Sunday, against the Connecticut Rough Riders. Those games are both on the road. Check EasternHockeyLeague.org for start times. You can also catch those games on HockeyTV.com as the Knights will again look to continue their success off that East Coast Wizards win. And Josh, we thank you here for giving a couple of minutes to us after before practice, I should say. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys out there this coming weekend.
Thanks, Tim.